much for sharing. I could sense that in myself. That was like very powerful. So thank you for sharing in the best way that you could. All right. So today I have, does someone unmute? We're going to continue to move on because we have about 15 minutes and I want to honor everybody's time for being here. Today we have gifts to give out. So everyone here gets 22% off of my store. And when you schedule a 15-minute call, 15-minute coaching call, you'll get a free workbook with your booking. And then after showing up to the call, if you secure any services, I have an additional 22% off of the services for the past holidays. And that's applicable for you buying within the next 24 hours. So I will put my link in there. Copy. Yeah, I'll put my link in here so that when we keep going, don't have to do that. This is the link to my store, and then the link to book a call with me. And I didn't necessarily have to tell you that you have to book a call with me. Feel free, if you want to book an extended coaching session, you didn't get to talk today, you can book a 15-minute coaching session with me. I can find the link. Where is it? I'll put it in there shortly. Give me a moment. We're going to keep going. Yeah, you know what happens sometimes with tech? Oh, and the discount code for that is Attract Love. Let's go back to it. Let's go back and copy that. Want to make sure you get it right so that you can put it in. Janet, I'm going to mute you if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot I was on speaker. Can you send us these, quick question before you do that, can you send us these slides? Email them or something?
I do not send out the slides. I do not send out the slides, but you're free to do a, you're free to take a screenshot of them.
It's hard to get on my phone, but okay, thanks.
You,
Please mute me because I can't even get to all the functions on the phone.
Sure, I can mute you.
All right, thanks.
Got you. Welcome. Well, what happened? All right, let me mute Janet and then go back to my screen. All right, let's keep moving. So what we just did was start mindful dating with the sharing. So the first act of power is awareness and naming it out loud. And that's what we've just done. So I want you to read through these examples of 3 folks who started where you are today. And then I'll come back in and give you some more details about what happened with these clients of mine. So the first example is that she shrunk. What she did was she shrunk to get more attention, and when it didn't work, she was heartbroken. But what ended up happening is now that she's choosing herself and men are choosing her. The next experience is, sorry, lost my thing. As a person, it's a guy, a gentleman, he overextended himself at work. He was saying yes to every project. And his biggest thing was avoiding. So he wrote me and said, hey, I'm coming to the webinar because I realized that I can't, work runs out, right? Like I've created this successful lifestyle and I have to go home now. And I realized by being at home that I've used work to help me deflect from what it was that I was dealing with. And even though I had all of this work that I could do, now that I don't have that time consumption of work duties, that pain is still living right here with me, waiting for me to deal with it. And so these are stories from folks who were able to start to name what it was that they were going through, and now they're able to do the work, or they've done the work, or they're working on it, and they're attracting aligned love and partners. I always like to talk about the cost of doing nothing, because that is very important. When we first started out, we talked about the watcher and then the participant. The person that sits in the background, they watch, they don't say anything, and they're blaming themselves. And then we talked about the person that they speak, they are a part of it, they actually start to develop a plan, and then they align with love. And that's what this slide here is about. It's about the person, the cost of doing nothing. So I had a mom, she sent me a message and she said, I need to come to your webinar. There's, my child is starting to have this experience where they're dating the same type of person that I dated when I was with their father. And I'm watching my kid go through the same trauma that I experienced. And I'm thinking, okay, this person, she's wanting to come to the webinar to tell me that she wants to get me to coach her kid. And I believe that's what her idea was. But when she came in, she did the webinar, she did a workshop, then she realized that she had to fix her relationship patterns to be able to show her kid that she is now loving herself healthily. And I will add this, that she was like, I'm never going to date again. But what she learned was that's not a cure for it, right? Like, it's not until you start to create healthy dating patterns, healthy loving patterns within yourself, that you start to model these patterns or these relationship ideals for your kids. Because if not, they're just going to mimic what it is that they saw you experience. So can anybody relate to that, or does that bring something up for anyone here?
Actually, Shane, all those points bring up something for me, because ironically enough, or interestingly enough, the mother's pattern, now, even though the busy professional and the perpetual waiter is kind of me on a personal level,
Mhm.
one thing that I'm really having a hard time dealing with, as I said, I'm pretty much at the eye of the hurricane right now with this divorce, the separation, the whole changing. But I just want to highlight the mother's pattern, because with my stepdaughter, who I just absolutely adore and love to pieces, as an 18-year-old young lady, she's falling into that pattern right now. And it alarms me so much, because she's carbon copying her mom's behavior.
Mhm.
And it really resonates with me. It lands well with me, because I'm actually experiencing that now and I'm seeing that firsthand. So that point right there, out of all three, is really, really important to me, because you're not wrong about that. The apples don't fall far from the tree.
Yeah. And so we have to take responsibility and own our relationship patterns, because when that doesn't happen, then the kids start to have this experience, and then you get to see your kids live out, like this mom saw her kids living out her nightmare in a relationship that was not healthy for her. Thanks for sharing.
Well, absolutely. And I just want to highlight that fact, that it's really, really important, because if there's any people attending this that right now that do have kids, yeah, you're basically setting that example, and you're just basically continuing that pattern.
Yeah, and this is true. Thank you so much. So I'm going to whiz through this story really quickly so we can get to a couple of other things. We have about 5 minutes left. So this client started his mindful dating journey. It's a success story. In his intake, he said he wanted to date around or collect data, but he wanted to do it mindfully. So he thought that he was avoidant at first. And I challenged that. I challenged these labels, because they become something that folks hide behind when there's always a root traumatic issue that's at stake. And when we pull that out, the avoidance or these attachment issues no longer exist. So what we found out was that he was afraid. He was also shameful, and he did not feel safe in love. And in that, we uncovered an unresolved mother wound in his root chakra, found that he was dating from survival, and he was afraid of showing his feelings to women because they'd never been validated. So we healed all of his chakras, had intensive coaching sessions, and now he's open, vulnerable, and loving. I recently got a message from him saying that he can't believe that he was able to match with an incredible partner. He's now dating a beautiful woman. He's preparing to get married and have kids, and that was all within 6 months of him starting his mindful dating journey. So that is an incredible success story.